YouTube માં live કર્યા છે.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of ABWCI Dialogues. As you have seen us, doing these dialogues, candid dialogues with senior leaders, country presidents, and also more and more with industry leaders, which will be the future of ABWCI Dialogues. I'm very glad that this dialogue series has been a lot of people have come back to us to see that this dialogue series is very, very important when it comes to real knowing, individuals in different parts of the world. Today, what we are bringing is another leader from another country, and from that perspective to see that how local leadership is helping people and millions of women entrepreneurs worldwide. But before that, I want to spend some time with the whole thinking about ABWCI, the Virtual Chamber of Commerce. You have been listening about this, that ABWCI has started from India, which is the global south, and it's moving to global north. The whole concept of ABWCI was creating a virtual chamber of commerce for women entrepreneurs to create that women economic empowerment worldwide. And the mission is to establish a collaborative ecosystem to engage, network, identify, and leverage market opportunities worldwide. Our vision is also to nurture and provide an enabling environment for women in business and to build a sustainable, better future. As of now, we are in 24 countries, and we are building this ecosystem in these countries with tri-sector partnership, the partnership with the government, with the private sector and the civil society, including universities, incubators, accelerators. And the thinking is the day will come when we'll have equal participation on wealth creation, and we'll have women entrepreneurs taking the lead and taking shoulder to shoulder with men as entrepreneurs as such. And with this, and why we started this dialogue series, which is ABWCI Dialogue, it's a chat series to create productive spaces that invites key stakeholders of the ecosystem to join and listen to women in business and industry experts talking about their ideas, journeys, experience, and challenges. More and more, you will see more leaders like Chaya, which I will introduce, who will be joining us and helping this ecosystem. Because today, our personality is very, very unique. Because she comes from political background, but she is our president, which is ABWCI president of Nepal. I want to introduce now Chaya Sharma, who is a member of the Constituent Assembly of Nepal. Chaya is epitome of women entrepreneurship and empowerment in Nepal. She is the founder and chairperson of Nepal College of Travel and Tourism Management, the first college in Nepal that provides training on tourism. She has been honored as an ambassador of peace by Universal Peace Foundation, and I'm very glad that she accepted to be the president of ABWCI in Nepal, not only helping hundreds of women entrepreneurs in Nepal, but also becoming an ideal for women entrepreneurs worldwide. So here we present Chaya Sharma. So Chaya, thank you so much to come to the show. And I'm very, very happy that you could take this role in ABWCI and help. So first of all, welcome. And I'm very glad that I'm talking to you today. And on behalf of ABWCI, I want to thank you for the work that you are doing. And I'm very happy that you could take time out today to speak to us. So welcome, Chaya.
Thank you very much, and namaskar to all of you who have joined us in this webinar. Parulji has said so much about me, but for me, it is indeed an honor to be a member of ABWCI, and also on top of that, the country president of ABWCI. I only wish that I will justify my positions in the days to come.
No,
Thank you.
you're very humble, Chayaji. And the thing is that, we are learning so much from you. That is more important. But, I have a very candid question with you, because when I see you as such a tall leader today in Nepal, I want to ask you that when you started, when you were young, when you were in college, how did you start your journey as a leader and then, inspired so many women entrepreneurs globally?
Thank you very much for this question. Actually, I was always interested in politics from a young age, but I did not actually directly want to get into politics until and unless I was economically sound and economically empowered in my own way. So yes, to begin with, that was my motivation. But however, when I was the president of the Federation of Women Entrepreneurs Association of Nepal, there were lots of things and issues that we were lobbying with the government. For example, one of the things was collateral-free loan for women entrepreneurs. Because as we all know, for a woman entrepreneur, the biggest challenge is access to finance. And it took us quite some years before the government heard us, but to establish this Women Entrepreneurship Fund, we had to move from ministries to ministries. Many ministers changed, many secretaries came, went by, but still this thing was not coming up. So after my tenure when I finished my tenure from FWIN, Federation of Women Entrepreneurs Association, as the 4th president, then actually I was thinking that one needs to be in a decision-making position, then only you can have your things moved. So that is when, after my term was over, then I joined a political party. And to my good fortune, I think after 4 years of joining the party, I was nominated as a proportional representative member as a member of parliament. And it was that time that in the parliament, like there are various committees, and I was in the committee of commerce, industry, and consumer welfare. So this committee also had a subcommittee. And then there I lobbied that we need a women entrepreneurship subcommittee. And I was lucky that political party, there were about 30 political party and 70 members, I think, from different political parties in our committee. And I was very fortunate that everybody agreed to have women entrepreneurship development as one of the subcommittee. And through that, all the groundwork was already done. So we managed to take off and launch the Women Entrepreneurship Development Fund, collateral free, which was, I think, one of a big achievement for me. So yes, that is why I really went into politics, not because I, wanted to become some great leader or something, but it was for my women entrepreneurs. And we realized that without you going into a decision-making level, nobody's going to hear you.
No, that's really nice and very good to hear from you that, women like you who feel that, there is a need for being in politics, being in power, being in leadership, because not many people think, everybody feels that politics is a dirty game. But, what you said is making so sense. It's making so much sense that if you don't understand the value of decision making in the constitution, in a democracy like Nepal, then it will be very difficult to really criticize what is not happening. And you rightly said that, if you have to change the policies, we have to really understand, how we have to work and how things would be. But it's a related question which I wanted to ask also, that so Chayaji, from a perspective of, as a young leader, you were interested in politics and the work, how did you manage to do so many things? I can say, when I say too many, it means that, you were in politics, you were helping women entrepreneurs, I know that you were also briefly helping banks, you were on the boards of the banks and all that. How could you manage all this? Because when I speak to a lot of these women, who are young women and middle-aged women, they feel that it is too much a burden. What is your experience?
You very correctly said, like now, even me, when I talk to young entrepreneurs, I, ask them to come on board, become members. But then the answer that I get is, we are so busy, we have no time. But to this, what I would say is, I think because for a woman, like it is inborn, I think we can do multitasking without any hitch. I think we are quite good at multitasking. So yes, number one, that is our inner attribute, I think. And the other is also your own personal will of how much you want to do, how much you want to give. So that is very, very important, and how determined you are in what you are doing, how many lives you want to touch, how you want to give it back to society. So I think those are some of the qualities which I say that I possess. And like for me, impossible was never in my dictionary, and it's not in my dictionary. So I think that was one of the main factors which really succeeded in me coming to in different boards and doing different work at the same time.
No, very good. No, Chayaji, the thing is that it is very good to learn that, definitely we all know, we have learned from our mothers, from our sisters, from our wife, that also daughter, that how you work together in terms of looking at the multitasking, because there's so much you are doing, so much you are helping, not only the courage you have in that, and all those kind of the attributes a woman has. And that's why we feel we are honored to have a forum like ABWCI, who are not only our members are women, but the ecosystem which we are creating is also women led today. So from the perspective of bringing this entire looking at attributes and your leadership and all that, as you see that there's an ecosystem which is needed for women entrepreneurs, how do you feel that ecosystem can be created? The second question is, do you see that the ecosystem is available already in Nepal? So these are related questions which I want to ask.
This is a very good question. Actually, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, I think, is very much talked about now, and is the in thing, and which is very much required, because we are talking about startups, we are talking about creating new enterprises, we're talking about more and more women coming into businesses. So until and unless we have the ecosystem put together, I think it will be very difficult for sustainability, and even like for startups. So yes, ecosystem is very, very important. And when we talk about the ecosystem, of course, it is networking of different players in the field. Like the entrepreneur is there, she needs guidance, she needs mentor, she needs bank, financing, marketing, networking. So I think all these things put together, we can create an ecosystem, even incubation. So this is very, very important. And yes, Nepal, in Nepal, we are working towards this, and the situation compared to 10 years, 15 years back, this is much, much improved. And everyone now, when we are talking about startups, we are talking about the ecosystem and linking, after training, linking them to the banks, and then the marketing system and networking. But one thing why sometimes the ecosystem, what needs in the ecosystem is, and why women entrepreneurs do not sustain, and after some time, they give up, is because networking is very, very important part. And they have not realized, still this realization of becoming a part of some networks where you can get mentorships, where you can talk about your problems, where you can get informations. So these are things we need to motivate more and more women to come into networks, and which is also one of the very, very important part of the ecosystem. That's what I feel, Parul.
No, very good. No, and this is a related question. You were talking about, networking, talking to people. As you compare it with men folk in terms of men as peers, Chayaji, that they have informal networks. Do you feel that, women lack this kind of an informal network, and we have to also push sometime women to join networks like ABWCI?
Absolutely, I agree. Like even for me, it is a big challenge, to get more and more women entrepreneurs into our ABWCI Nepal. Like I need to convince them. Of course, uh, this is like we are now focused in Kathmandu, and a small place where many organizations have emerged of late. So women are members in various organizations, and sometimes we find the same members, same women in various organizations. So for me, like I want I want a more larger group to come in, and I would encourage more and more new faces. So that is becoming one challenge. And networking, I would say, is very important, because today I'm talking with you. Today I'm the country president of Nepal for ABWCI, is because I was a member long time back in networks like WEEN, FWEEN, and other organizations from where I learned a lot. So I think now that ABWCI, which is a virtual platform, it's not even like physically you have to be present every time for meetings. This is, you can learn so much from this, and organizations, platforms like these are very important, I think.
No, I think Chayaji, on through this medium today when we are talking, I also want to urge women in business and women entrepreneurs in Nepal and worldwide to see that they visit our website called www.abwci.org and register themselves. And the registration is free. The membership is free. And what they are getting is, multiple services. They get RFPs, they get, invitation to events, courses, know-how. There is this different ABWCI events happening, which is more curated towards very focused on women in business, to see that, how they can scale up their, portfolios, their companies and their businesses as such. But my thinking is more that, other organizations, which are smaller organizations, can also become our members, because
Absolutely.
Once they become our members, I think there will be more to say that members will become members of an international body like ABWCI. Because as you rightly said, that in Nepal you have these local organizations, and ABWCI is a global aggregator of all these organizations. So it makes sense to have all these organizations as members, because as these organizations will be visible to global world, these entrepreneurs will also be, once they are members, they will also be, not only recognized, visible, and we are the only world's registry on women entrepreneurs. Why I'm saying is that, I'm reiterating to our members and to our global organizations that, we are the only authentic, because when you apply for a membership, the membership coordinator looks at your certification, and that certification is then approved, which means that the end of it, we are an authentic organization to help. And that's what, Chayaji, I wanted to say with you, because you have so many people, as your members and your followers. I think that is, for them, is more important to say.
I agree with you. And, times like this, when we can just sit at home, and then we are, the world is in our palm, the world is in our computer, laptop, technology has advanced so much. So I think we must all take this opportunity.
Yes, and embrace this opportunity, because the reason is that more and more people will join us, more and more, country, governments and ecosystem we can create, and that ecosystem would be very helpful in the future to come. Now, moving on to the next section of this dialogue is more on looking at the whole ecosystem which we can build as such. From your, because you are very active in South Asia, okay, not only in Nepal, but entire South Asia, or I can say the whole SAARC as such. As you are trying to build a platform to see that we have more business opportunities between India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, and all the BBINSA region. Do you see the question number one, there is change or there is something happening, number one? The number two question is, what is needed for this entire thinking to be created, or what should we do with governments to really push or do the advocacy for making this possible? So there are three parts of the question. One, what is the situation? The second is, how should we do it? And third is, who are the actors we should talk to, who we should talk, and which will be helpful for our future?
To your first question, are there things happening in South Asia? I think yes, things are happening. There are various organizations like from the SAARC, Chamber of Commerce and Industry. There's a women's committee, which is SWEC, SAARC, Women Entrepreneurs Council. And this was established, I think, way back in 2002. I was also part of this when it started. And the first launching was in Sri Lanka. So yes, there is a lot happening. And there are other organizations also who are working with women's associations who are among the working with other SAARC countries. And now to your, I think, second question was what can
be done? And my question is more that, we have, if you look at the recent studies and the work which we have seen, we are more concentrating and helping border hearts, I'm just saying. But when it comes to real businesses to progress, as you see in India, there are organizations who are very, very interested to go to Nepal, but are they getting the whole ecosystem asset? That's more my question.
So when we talk about things are happening, yes, organizations are there, and what are they doing is organizing seminars, organizing Women's Summit, and all this has been going on for, I think, few years, which is very interesting also because we get to exchange ideas, we get to network, we get to learn from each other. But business-wise, I think if we talk about that is lacking because of mainly it's the government policies. For example, like when I said SAARC, Women Entrepreneurs Council, like we had started SAARC Chamber Crafts Village. And then it was so difficult to get products because it was SAARC. We needed products from all the SAARC countries. So especially like when from Pakistan, it was very, very difficult to get products from Pakistan. And like when we talk about the currency now for Bangladesh, for India, even the currency exchange, how to, if we order goods, it's like, how do we, payment system. So these are some of the very big challenges among us. And I think who are the actors who are going to help? Of course, obviously, it's the government. The government policy has to change. And until and unless these are things which is not in our control directly, but of course, definitely what we can do is we can, in a very creative way, like as women are, very, very creative in our own way, we can, we are movers and shakers. So what we can do is, I think every country, we can have we can advocate, we can send signature, we can do signature campaigns, we can send petitions, about all the difficulties that we are facing. Because let's say now, we talk about the global village, but here we are just a few thousand kilometers away from one another, and we cannot trade, we cannot do business easily. We cannot, our currency exchange is very difficult. So I think these are some of the things which the policymakers need to address. And in our own way, we can lobby and we can advocate, I think.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking when you were saying that, because I think the SAARC is not now convening in last, few years. And I think the need is that, if we create a kind of a ecosystem, which will be helpful of a threshold, each product, if we can create a threshold to maybe, for example, $100, per transaction can be done. Because today I really feel that everyone has a credit card. Okay, they're linked either through Visa, MasterCard, or maybe Rupee, or they have American Express. Money exchange is not a problem from that perspective, but logistics is, sending material from
No, even Parul, like, I'm sorry to interrupt. Money exchange is also a problem because, like, just few days back, we had I'm in also the tourism committee of
Yes.
CNI.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, like, the Bangladesh tourists, they are so willing to come to Nepal. And I think few months back, they are ranking on the second or third tourist arrivals in Nepal. And
Yeah.
but then the problem is with the exchange. They cannot, the taka, they cannot exchange here. And then I think they have some, so these are also some of the problems. Even the current.
So you are saying that in interportability, in terms of, how we use the local currency with the currency of, okay, that's another, question, because people who don't have a credit card, I'm saying, from a larger, bigger perspective, who are people who want to travel, who want to send their goods and services and all that. And I take what you are saying is, it makes perfect sense that the thinking is that somewhere we have to create that kind of, not, I can say, an enabling environment, not an ecosystem, but enabling environment to not only, put the goods, services, but also create that kind of enabling environment where not only we can trade, but we can also visit. And there should be openness to it, because India, Nepal, we have no issues in terms of India, Nepal, Bhutan traveling. But if you travel to Bangladesh, I think Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, we need visa and all that. So I think one is the whole, outlook, the thinking, and also the mindset of, bringing that kind of change, which can bring so much prosperity in this region, because this region is full of not only good entrepreneurs, but good, products and services which can be used.
We are full of resources.
Yes. We are full of resources and all that. My last question, before we end, and then we'll open, for question and answer. My last question is, what is your, I can say, advice to young entrepreneurs who are starting or who have just started, and how should they progress in their life?
This is a very, very good question, because times are such that, everything is fast money, fast food, fast, everything. So I think my first and very, very important advice to young entrepreneurs, to startups, would be patience. I think patience is virtue, and nothing grows overnight. Everything takes its time. So you have to have patience, number one. Then you have to, first of all, you have to do something that something that you like, something that you have your strength in. Many times what happens is people embark on businesses, enterprises, by copying others, seeing that somebody has been successful in some field. It is like, okay, let me also start, because so-and-so is successful in carpet, or so-and-so is successful in pashminas, let me start. So I think I would say that this approach should not be there. You have to do something which you have strength, market study, feasibility study. These are things very important. But more than all of this, you have to have confidence in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be very, very dedicated to what you are doing. You have to be prepared to work 24/7, because as an entrepreneur, you are everything. You are the boss, you are the cleaner at times, you are the peon, all these things. So you have to be ready for all that, and don't give up on yourself at any point of time. Sometimes it is with failure that you succeed. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to be very persistent. You have to be able to take risks. So these are some of the things that if you build on, definitely you will succeed. Like if we talk about us, for me, it took almost 28, 29 years to build my own building, to have my own college. So it was not easy. There was a roller coaster ride. And at the end of the day, if you are really sincere about your work, you'll definitely succeed. And here I would also like to say that always, I believe that whenever you do something, if you have interest of others, if you hold the interest of others in your heart, definitely you will succeed. And grace is always there for you to succeed. This is very, very important tip that I would like to give to an entrepreneur.
Thank you, Chaya. So I think so much that what you spoke about, how you feel for yourself, how confident you are. And precisely one thing I always tell all my women entrepreneurs, as members and also who are in business, that love yourself. If you love yourself, people will love you, because you have to emit positive energy. And if you emit positive energy, then world is caring for you, and world is living and helping you to see that, God is with you in all this. My last question, because you have this with this, you have, really, it was so good to listen to you. In your life, what were the challenges or what were the failures? Because people want to really know from you as candid because when we look at leaders like you, we always feel that you are successful and all that. What were the challenges you faced in your life and also failures?
The challenges, like when we talk about challenges, success, failures, like for me, I would say that failure and success, I think, are two parts of the coin. You succeed only when you fail. That's what I believe. Because if you don't give up on yourself, you will definitely succeed. And my challenges when I started my college were immense. There were lots of challenges. For example, since this was the first tourism college that was operating at the academic level, Nepal, we did not have such a college here. Of course, there were some training centers. We are a full-fledged bachelor level college. So this was to get teachers to develop your curriculum, first of all, to get permission from the government and then from the university. All these things were a big challenge. Nevertheless, we did manage to put things together. And I started with 5 students in 2 rooms. Then we went to 10 students, then 14, then 32 that way. But never did I give up. And like I was always, there was one thing that I always stuck to was my paying my faculties, my staff, that I never went back. I would never default. So when I say that if you have the interest of others at heart, you will definitely succeed. And the biggest challenge I had to face was the principal that I had kept in my college. One fine day, after 7 years, he almost ruined our college. He took my students, he took my teachers one fine day, and then went to the university. He wanted to cancel our affiliation and get that, but my goodwill, to cut the long story short, I think that did not happen. So my biggest learning was also, sometimes when you put too much of trust on people, you tend to backfire. So you have to be very alert in your business.
Yes.
And now the biggest thing that happened to me was, after this, I did not want to employ somebody as a principal, but now here I had only bachelor degree, and to become the principal, you have to have a master's degree. And can you imagine, after 25 years of doing my bachelor's, I went, enrolled in the university, I did my master's, and then I became the principal.
Lovely.
That was my biggest challenge.
No, Chaya, I think it's such a pleasure to listen to your candid story. Nobody knows that how you really, did all this. And that's why my question was looking at the whole thinking about how, you have really become a true leader per se, and how you really succeeded in this entire thinking. So I think thank you so much for coming to this episode, the 3rd episode of ABWCI Dialogues. I really enjoyed talking to you, and also my members of ABWCI. I know that they would have enjoyed your discussion and the way you spoke about the learnings, the challenges, the failures, and also looking at how you have succeeded in life. So I wish you all the best. I wish you the best for the time to come. And I hope ABWCI, under your leadership in Nepal, grows every day. And also we become, both of us, I'm saying, both of us become successful every, with each day passing by. So thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for speaking so candidly and clearly about this. So thank you, Chaya. Once again, I wish you the best in life, and I'll see you more. And we, as we progress, we will have more leaders, more stakeholders in this candid dialogue, which is ABWCI dialogue. Please log in and use the best best material which is available at ABWCI website, and also become a member so that you can get the best facility, and also you can use our resources for your future. Thank you so much. Signing off now, meeting you soon with new personality, new leader, and also with a stakeholder which will be helping you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chayaji.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank